Today what we're going to make is an under-counter light. It's got a little switch right here, little LED strip under here to light underneath the counters. Let's get down in the shop and I'll show you how it's put together. So I wanted some under-counter lights for our kitchen, and you know, the fluorescent ones are like $20 a piece, and you've got that little fluorescent tube in there that goes out every 15 minutes, and you know, it's flickers and they're a pain in the neck. So I wanted LED ones, and they were like $40 or $50 a piece, and I was like, okay, I'm not paying, I need 4 of them, so I'm not paying $200 for lights. So anyway, I decided to make these. I ordered the parts from China. I got them in about 2 weeks, and altogether each one of them cost me $8, less than $8 a piece to build them. Now we use these transformers to power them, and I'll show you in just a minute some more details about all of the pieces. But these are little wall warts that plug into the wall, and you could easily power these with one 12-volt transformer that you just hid somewhere under a counter and ran the wire to all of them. I just chose to use this because it was simpler and I thought it'd be easier for people to do. Now realize I'm not an electrician, so you're wiring stuff at your own risk, but you know, it's 12-volt stuff, so I wouldn't think you'd have a problem, but you know, that's all up to you. Okay, let's talk about the items that you're going to need. Now this is the switch that I used. There's nothing special about this switch at all. These strips, they use about 0.6 of an amp at 12 volts, so as long as your switch will handle that, which most switches will handle a lot more than that, it'll be fine. But these, I got 10 of them for $4.73 on eBay, and I'm not going to put in the links on what I bought because, as you know, on eBay in 2 weeks those links will be gone. So if you will just search for round LED rocker toggle 12 volt, you'll have hundreds of these pop up. And like I said, I paid $4.73 for 10 of them. You could use any switch that you like. These are the transformers that I used, and they're 12 volts and they're 2 amps. And like I said, these use 0.6 of an amp. 2 of them together use 1.2 amps. And I've had one cabinet where I needed to string 2 of them together. So I wanted something that would do 2 amps. And I paid $13.52 for 4 of these. And if you'll just search for 12 volt 2 amp transformer and then put in LED light strip, and that'll narrow it down to where you'll find something like this one. And these came from, the company was BizBee 2014, BIZBEE 2014, all one word. I don't know that that's all that important, but these actually came with the little adapter for that same price, which was nice. Now, these are the LED strips, and I do think it's important that you, I originally bought these from a different company and I had trouble getting them. So these I bought from LED Light Factory, LED Light Factory, and I got 5 of them for $17.70. And they come just like this, and you can get them in the warm color or the cool color, whichever you prefer. Now, they come with this little adapter to hook your transformer in. I'll light this up for you real quick. There you go. They put off quite a bit of light. It's almost like probably a 40 to 60 watt light bulb. You know, don't hold me to that, but it does plenty of light, you'll see in the video. Okay, so I hope that helps you find these. Let's get started on the build. Okay, so to lay out the switch plate, I've got my divider set to 1.25 inches because under the counter, the board I'm mounting it to is 3/4 of an inch, so I've got to come over that far and then half the diameter of the switch plus a little bit extra. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my center for my switch. And then to mount this to the boards underneath the cabinets, it's 3/4 of an inch, so I'm going to mark this at 3/8, which is half of that, to place the screws. Then I'm just going to come in 3/8 from the end to put those screw holes. I'm going to use a punch. I could use a drill, but drilling sheet metal is a little tricky, so I'm going to use this punch. I'm going to take a center punch and just mark this hole for the switch lightly, and then we'll get that drilled out. Now I've got a step drill in my drill press. I've got the hole lined up so this can go through there without touching anything. Alright, we'll get this drilled out. You could also drill this in a vise with a drill. It would just be a little trickier. Now over on the grinder, I'm just going to round this corner off just a little bit. Just so you don't snag your finger on it. And now I'm just going to take a wire brush and hit all the edges just to make sure there's no sharp edges. Okay, so that's got our plate made. And then I just take our switch and pop it in there like that. Now to get these ready to put up, I need a longer wire than this. And if you didn't, you could just nip this off or get you a little jack to go onto here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the wires off the board. So all I got to do is just give a little tension on there and just touch the soldering iron to it. And it pops right off. Same thing on the other side, just like that. Now to replace those wires, I'm just going to strip just a tiny little bit back from the end of the wire. Just like that. And now I want to tin the ends of those, which just means getting a little bit of solder started right on the end. Just like that. Okay, to solder these down, I'm using this gray wire. It's going to be my positive. So I'll make sure on the board that I've got the positive side. And I'm just going to come down. I'm going to lay that right on top, and I'm just going to touch it. Now you don't want to overheat this, which means, you're going to get it hot when you solder it. But you don't want to stay there very long because you could delaminate the board or knock that LED off of there. Melt it and get it off. So I don't want you to be afraid of it. I just want you to realize that you need to move kind of quick here. Same thing here. Just like that. It's that quick. With a hot soldering iron, it'll solder that quick. Now if you do worry about that step, then just leave those wires on there and then just strip them back here and add onto them and use some electrical tape or something like that to insulate it. Now you've got to determine, when you put it up underneath your counter, you've got to determine, I want it as far forward as I can, but if I bring it too far forward, notice it casts a shadow all the way across here. But as I back it up, I see that light come out to the edge till I get to there. So when I measured that up underneath there, I found that I needed to be from the back edge of this, I needed to be a 1/2 inch back in order to make that shadow fall off the edge of the front of the counter. So now I'm ready to mount my strip up underneath there, and I'm just using some foam mounting tape. I'm just going to cut me about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. This thing doesn't weigh anything, so it shouldn't take much. And just place one at the end. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to peel the protective backing off. And then remembering that distance I want to be off the back of the board, I'm going to come up under here and stick that down. So this is what my strip looks like, stuck down. Now this is the tail, and my switch is going to go right here. So I've just left me enough to work with there. And then I'm going to tin these. It is important to pre-tin your positive because that's the one we're going to switch, and we need to get it to onto our switch here, and we want to pre-tin it to make it easier. So we also want to pre-tin our switch, And on this particular switch, it has 3 terminals because it's got that little red spot on the front that'll light up, which is a feature I don't want. So I'm not going to use the gold one, but these 2 silver ones I do need. And so just lay my soldering iron against that tip and just put a little bead of solder on there. There we go. Now I need a little piece of wire to come off of my switch in order to attach to my transformer. So I'm going to, got a little piece here and I'm going to strip the ends of it. And I'm going to go ahead and pre-tin the ends of this. Now to attach that, since both sides are tinned, all I have to do is just touch my soldering iron to it and hold it until it freezes. Now that we got our little tail on there, the other side we have to attach is the positive side that we attach to our LED strip now goes to the other side of our switch. And I just attach it the same way. Just hold it till it freezes, and there we go. Now we'll put our little adapter on here, being sure to line up the negative wire with the negative side. Then put the positive side on the positive side. And be sure they're connected. Okay. Now I can plug in our transformer and we can actually test it. And there we go. We have light. So really all we have left to do now is just mount our switch plate up into the cabinet like that, and then to hide our wires. Alright, so we're going to take our switch and just hold it right where we want it, and I'm going to take an ice pick and just pre-mark these holes. And that's got our switch installed. Now since these wires are up under the counter and you can't really see them, I have found the easiest way to hide them is just with hot glue. And so if you take a little hot glue and then push your wire into it, let it cool. That'll hold it. And that's got it installed. So as you can see, when you're standing up, you can't see any of it at all. And even when you're sitting at the table that's back this way, you can't see this because it's just on the other side of this board. So it makes a really nice installation. There it is turned on. It's LED, so it should last, 20 years or something without changing the bulb. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this project. Thank you for watching.